Love has no borders, no limits, and no guarantees. But sometimes love isn't ruined by strangers. It's broken by the people we trust the most, the ones we call family. For the past 6 months, Jenny Slatton had been secretly involved in a romantic relationship with a man named David. He worked at a bank. What started as a quiet friendship soon turned into deep romance. When David learned about Jenny's hidden financial troubles, he promised to take care of it and pay off her $850,000 debt. After that, their bond became stronger. They spent time together at luxury hotels, sharing intimate moments that showed how close they had become. A few weeks later, Jenny found out she was pregnant. Medical tests confirmed that the baby she was carrying was David's. When Sumit Singh found out the truth, he was devastated. The betrayal led to heated arguments, and eventually, Jenny decided to divorce Sumit. She told him clearly, "I only want to marry David." Unable to handle the heartbreak, Sumit tried to take his own life. Later, he accused Jenny of stealing $780,000 from his savings and giving it to David. The case went to court, and after a long hearing, the court ruled that Sumit's claims were true. Jenny was sentenced to 3 months in prison. But it all started with a simple message. Over the years, Jenny had received many messages from fans, critics, and strangers. But this one felt different. The message said, "I hope you don't mind me saying this, Jenny. You inspire me. You remind me that love doesn't have an age limit, only courage." His name was David Bank, a 49-year-old investment banker from Chicago, or at least that's what his profile said. His photo showed a confident man in a navy suit with the city skyline behind him. Jenny hesitated before replying. She wasn't used to kindness from men. But David's words felt real, not forced. Their chat started off simple. They talked about travel, family, and culture. Then it got deeper. David asked about her life in India, the criticism she faced, and how lonely she felt. Jenny found herself opening up more than she ever had before. David listened. He never judged. He made her feel seen. Soon, his name became something she looked forward to. She'd check her phone before bed, smile at his messages, and laugh at his jokes. Sumit noticed. "Who are you texting so much?" he asked. "Just a friend from Facebook," Jenny said quickly. "He's giving me some financial advice." But deep down, she knew it was more than just friendship. Then came their first video call. David's face appeared, charming, confident, glowing in Golden City light. "So this is the famous Jenny Slatton," he smiled. "You look even more radiant off camera." They talked for hours. Something dangerous started to grow, a connection, affection, attention. Soon, their calls became daily. Jenny even started dressing up for him. A little lipstick, some blush. "You look beautiful today, Jen," he'd say. "You always do." She tried to stop, to set limits. But each time, David pulled her back with kind words and warm promises. One day, he noticed something was wrong. "You've been quiet, Jen. What's going on?" Jenny finally opened up. "I'm drowning in debt, David. Over $850,000. I can't tell anyone. Not even Sumit." After a pause, David said, "You don't have to face this alone anymore. I'll help you. I promise." Tears filled her eyes. No one had ever said that to her before. Not with that kind of certainty. That night, lying next to Sumit, Jenny couldn't sleep. Her heart was full of guilt and hope. David had become her secret, one she wasn't ready to give up. The next morning, Jenny woke up feeling something she hadn't felt in years, relief. Someone finally knew the truth. Someone didn't judge her. The $850,000 debt had haunted her since the 90-day Fiancé cameras stopped rolling. When the fame faded, so did the money. Sponsorships disappeared. Her YouTube dreams failed. Bills piled up. Old credit cards turned into endless interest traps. When Sumit's business struggled, she borrowed from online lenders just to survive. At first, it was small. Then the pandemic hit and everything collapsed. The debt became bigger than most people earn in a lifetime. She never told Sumit. Every time he asked, "Are we okay financially?" she would lie and say, "Everything's fine." But inside, she was falling apart. Then came David's message. "Don't panic, Jenny. I deal with this all the time. I'll help you fix it." She laughed nervously. David, That's $850,000. You can't just... I meant what I said, he replied. Let me handle it. The next day, she got a transfer receipt in her inbox. $250,000 had been wired to her U.S. account. Jenny's heart raced. David, why would you do this for me? Because you deserve peace, Jen. Let me take care of you. No one had ever helped her like that, no strings attached. Over the next few weeks, more payments followed. $100,000, then $150,000, then more. The debt collectors stopped calling. Jenny could breathe again. The tears were replaced by laughter, but the guilt remained. At dinner, Sumit noticed. You've been happy lately. Something good happened. Jenny froze. She wanted to tell him everything. The debt, the payments, the man who saved her. But fear held her back. Nothing special, she said. Just grateful for what we have. That night, she whispered into her phone from the bathroom. He doesn't suspect anything. He won't, David promised. You'll never struggle again. Jenny felt torn. Guilt on one side, desire on the other. But for the first time in years, she felt alive. Wanted. Safe. Seen. But she didn't know. Every promise has a price. And David's kindness wasn't about love. It was the start of something else. A cage.it began with gratitude. But when you mix gratitude with loneliness, it turns into something else. Something neither of them expected. Jenny couldn't stop thinking about David. He had become a part of her life. Every morning started with his message. Good morning, Jen. Don't forget, you're stronger than you think. Every night ended with another. Sleep well, my beautiful fighter. You've survived everything. Now let me protect you. The words felt like comfort, like love. But underneath, there was something else. A quiet need for control. At first, David was gentle. He asked small questions. How was her day? What did she eat? What was Sumit doing? Then his questions got sharper. You don't still share an account with Sumit, do you? You should keep your own passwords, Jen. He doesn't need to know everything. Jenny thought he was just being protective. But the more he paid her bills, the more control he seemed to have. And slowly, without realizing it, Jenny was no longer free. Soon, David had access to all of Jenny's finances, her bank accounts, PayPal, and even the little savings she had left from her TV days. He told her it was for her own good, just to manage things better. Jenny, feeling grateful and trusting him, agreed. One evening, David called her from what looked like a luxury hotel room. The golden lights reflected in his wine glass as he smiled through the camera. Jen, he said, I've cleared the last of your debt. You're free now. Jenny's eyes filled with tears. David, I don't even know how to thank you. Don't thank me, he said softly. Just be mine. That's all I want. Her heart stopped. His words hung in the air, heavy and impossible to ignore. David, she whispered, you know I'm married. To a man who hides you from his family? Who lets you suffer in silence? His voice turned sharper. Be honest, Jen. You haven't been happy for years. Jenny said nothing. Deep down, beneath the guilt and confusion, she knew he was right. Over the next few days, she tried to pull away. She told herself it had gone too far. But the more she tried to step back, the more David pulled her in. He sent her flowers, jewelry, and long handwritten letters scanned into her inbox. One note said, When I saw your story on TV, I saw myself. Someone who kept giving until there was nothing left. Let me give you back what you've lost, Jen. I don't just love you. I believe in you. The line between friendship and love disappeared completely. Jenny started sneaking out to meet him when Sumit worked late. They met at five-star hotels in Delhi, had candlelit dinners in quiet restaurants, and took long walks along the Yamuna River. Every moment felt stolen, dangerous, exciting. She kept telling herself each time would be the last, but she always went back. You make me feel young again, she whispered one night, lying beside him as city lights shimmered through the window. You're not old, David said, brushing a strand of her hair away. You're timeless, and I'll spend my life proving it. David's kindness soon turned into obsession. He started asking for updates on where she was, wanted proof she wasn't seeing anyone else, not even her husband. Jenny felt torn between two lives, the safe one she had with Sumit and the intense passion she felt with David. But what she didn't see was that David's promise to take care of her forever came with strings that were slowly wrapping around her life. By April, Jenny's world had become a web of lies. Every morning, she kissed Sumit goodbye and pretended to run errands. But instead, she stepped into a black Mercedes that waited outside David's car. The driver never spoke. No questions. Just quiet drives through Delhi until they reached the Leela Palace Hotel, where David waited. Sharp suit, soft smile, and words that melted her guilt. "You look beautiful, Jen," he would say. "Every time I see you, the world disappears." For a few stolen hours, Jenny wasn't a fading TV star or a guilty wife. She was someone who felt seen, wanted, alive. Their meetings became a routine. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. The hotel staff called her Mrs. L and never asked questions. David spoiled her with diamonds, silk, and gold. When she hesitated, he reminded her, "You didn't say no when I paid your debts. Don't start now." His charm had a sharp edge, a quiet warning that he was in control. But Jenny stayed because with him, she felt something she hadn't felt in years, desire. Still, secrets have shadows. Sumit noticed the new perfume, the jewelry, the excuses. "Jenny," he asked one night, "who are you seeing?" "Don't be silly," she laughed. But even she could hear the fear in her voice. Then came the photos, blurry pictures of her with a man at the Leela Palace. The headline was loud and clear. Jenny Slatton spotted with mystery banker. Sumit's voice shook when he showed her the image. "Who is he?" "I don't know," she lied, while staring at a message from David. "Don't tell him anything." That night, Sumit stopped calling her my love. But Jenny kept meeting David, caught between guilt and addiction. "One day you'll be mine publicly," David promised. She smiled, not knowing what was coming. It started with dizziness. At first, she thought it was the heat. But when the morning sickness came, her denial turned into fear. Alone in her bathroom, she looked down at the pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. "No, this can't be happening," she whispered. At 66, she thought it was impossible. But life had other plans. Panicked, she called David. Within the hour, they met at the hotel suite. She handed him the test with shaking hands. "Jenny, are you sure?" "I took 3. He turned pale. "We'll keep this quiet. No one can know yet." "You mean until you're sure it's yours?" she snapped. A week later, at a private clinic, the blood test confirmed it. 99.9% match. The father was David. Jenny's world collapsed. "Say you're happy," she whispered over the phone. "I'm shocked," David replied. "But we'll figure it out." That night, lying next to Sumit, she pretended to sleep. His hand rested gently on hers. Unaware she carried another man's child. Tears slipped down her face as she whispered into the dark. "What have I done?" The secret she carried had a heartbeat now, and it would destroy everything she had left. For almost a month, Jenny lived in a storm of lies. By day, she smiled. By night, she cried. Everyone thought she was the same cheerful woman from 90 Day Fiancé. But inside, she was breaking. David changed too. His messages were shorter. His tone colder. "We'll figure it out, Jen," he said. "We just need to be smart." "Be smart," she snapped. "I'm carrying your child, David." "Then keep quiet. The press can't know." "Not yet." Then he went silent. His love turned to distance. Meanwhile, Sumit had already begun to suspect something. The late night calls, the sudden outings, her sadness. But he stayed quiet until one day, his phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. A photo. Jenny and David holding hands at the Leela Palace. Caption. "Thought you should know what your wife's been up to." Sumit froze. His hands shook as he waited for her to come home. When she walked in, he was already waiting. "What is this, Jenny?" he asked, showing her the photo. Her voice cracked. "I can explain." "Then explain." "He's just a friend." "A friend?" "You're holding hands in a hotel lobby." Tears fell down her face. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "Didn't mean for what?" Her lips trembled. "I'm pregnant." Silence. "What did you say?" "It's not yours." Sumit's world shattered. His voice broke. "After everything I gave up for you, this?" She reached for him, but he stepped back. "Don't touch me." Hours later, he was gone. No suitcase. No goodbye. just heartbreak echoing through the rain. The days that followed were a blur. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. The words, "It's not yours," haunted him. Then the story broke online. Photos, headlines, rumors. Jenny Slatton's secret affair exposed. The American banker and the betrayal of Sumit Singh. People stopped showing sympathy. The internet laughed. Even his mother called. "We warned you," she said. "You were blind." He hung up. He didn't need reminding. The world already knew .by the second week. He stopped going to work. Nights were quiet, filled with silence, as he stared at old photos of them smiling. Memories of a life that had fallen apart. Two lovers who once defied the world were now strangers, divided by betrayal. "Maybe it's my fault," Sumit muttered to the mirror. "Maybe I wasn't enough." But the truth was harder. Love wasn't missing. It had been replaced by lies. One late night, Sumit found one of Jenny's old voice messages. "You're my everything, Sumit. I'll never leave you." He laughed bitterly. "You already did." On June 9th, Sumit drove out of Delhi, looking for silence. He stopped by a quiet bridge. The city lights shimmered in the water below. He opened his phone and started typing one final message. "Jenny, if you ever read this, know that I loved you more than my own life. But I can't live in a world where that love was just a lie." The wind howled through the night. He stood at the edge of everything he believed in. He placed the phone beside him, closed his eyes, and stepped closer to the edge. But then a voice shouted from above. A security guard. "Hey, what are you doing there?" The voice snapped him back. His breath came fast. He stepped back and collapsed to the ground, sobbing. He didn't jump, but a part of him died that night. The next morning, police found him by the bridge, dazed, pale, and shaking. They called Jenny. She arrived crying. "Why would you do this?" she asked. Sumit didn't look at her. "You already killed me," he whispered. He was taken to a hospital and diagnosed with emotional trauma. Jenny begged for forgiveness, but Sumit's heart had turned cold. That night, under the hospital lights, he made a silent promise. If love had broken him, justice would help him heal. His first step was exposing Jenny's hidden truth. When the story broke, it spread fast, fueled by shock and scandal. At first, it was a small rumor online. But within hours, the headlines were everywhere. 90 Day Fiancé starred Jenny Slatton pregnant, but not by husband Sumit Singh. DNA confirms affair with American financier David Bank. Sumit Singh hospitalized after marital breakdown. The internet exploded. Fans who once saw Jenny as a symbol of true love now called her a fraud, a liar, a heartbreaker. Comment sections turned harsh. Memes mocked her. Photos showed her walking into hospitals with sunglasses on. One post said, "She crossed oceans for love, then drowned in her own lies." Jenny's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Reporters waited outside her building. Former castmates messaged her, some out of concern, others just curious. TLC made a vague statement. "We are aware of recent reports involving Jenny Slatton and Sumit Singh. Out of respect for privacy, we won't comment further." But the silence made people more curious. Within a week, private photos were leaked. Images of Jenny and David at the Leela Palace. They were everywhere on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. Her name, once known for love and strength, now trended under hashtags like #JennyCanceled and #SummitDeservesBetter. The stress became too much. She deleted her social media accounts, stopped answering calls, and stayed locked in her apartment. Even her close friends pulled away. No one wanted to get involved. David disappeared. The man who once promised her everything went silent. His last message was short. "This is getting too messy. I need to step back until things calm down." Jenny stared at the message for hours. Step back. After the money, the promises, the love, the baby. She tried calling him. His number was disconnected. Emails bounced back. His office in Chicago said he was on leave. She panicked. She looked at old bank records and tried tracing the accounts he used to pay off her debt. That's when she noticed something strange. The payments had come from offshore companies with no clear owner. Had David even been who he said he was? While Jenny hid away, Sumit recovered slowly in a private clinic. He stayed silent, which made the media chase him even more. Paparazzi followed him when he left the hospital, yelling questions. Sumit, are you divorcing Jenny? Will you press charges? Did you know about the debts? He said nothing, just got in his car with sunglasses hiding his eyes. But behind the scenes, he had already spoken to a lawyer. By the end of that week, divorce papers were filed in a Delhi court. The reason: infidelity, financial betrayal, and emotional